Welcome back, everybody. We're still in January week 3, and this is me attempting the attack minigame again. This time I can't blame bad luck. It was just a simple skill issue on my end, which means I'm once again at 0 motivation, with the only silver lining being that I'll be able to do more extra training and speed before the next time I have to do a minigame. Since we're at the top of the league now, these monthly pep talks, they're going to be monthly from now on, boost ego instead of lowering it. Skipping ahead a couple of weeks, we get another event with Olofinjana, another chance to train, another well-timed event too, as I was going to rest either way the following turn, and these events you don't have a chance of getting injured in like you do the regular extra training. Nothing else happened in February, I just trained speed 3 times, so it's time for our third match of the season. We're going up against Burnley, who, if you saw the Football Tactics playthrough, they are one of the best teams in England and would be a heck of a scalp if we could claim them. Same starting situation as Plymouth. First half was scoreless. We get a corner here. I think I picked near the far side. I really like that play, but Clyde on this occasion did not flick it on like we drew it up. A few minutes later, we see Binns leaking out on the left here, and you're going to see Binns be more of a facilitator for the first half of this playthrough because attribute-wise, our teammates have better attributes, which means they are better suited to scoring goals, but we need to get Binns involved somehow, and the easiest way is for him to dribble and pass instead. This time, though, it's the super sub Cameron, and I actually had Binns low as well, but I instinctively chip it high, and Nadar with a bicycle kick, our first goal in game. And what's worth doing once is worth doing twice, so here's a throw-in where we get it to Binns this time, he chips it up to the centre, and Nadar now has a brace. With this, we're able to take care of Burnley pretty easily and get one step closer to winning the championship. After the match, I get some massive boosts to my defensive skills for some reason. I have no idea what causes this. I would still have to research into it. At first I thought it might be a man of the match bonus because we got awarded it this time despite Nadar's brace, but a later match will disprove that theory. Anyway, after scoring twice in game, I thought I could also get over my duck in the attack minigame, so I tried it again, but here's what happened this time. Yes, I had not one but 2 straightforward finishes get completely whiffed on, so instead of completing the minigame like I should have been, I get yet another 0. So as usual, I trained speed a couple more times, and now we're going to get another event that allows me to dig myself somewhat out of the motivation hole. Even though it's going to cost me another €4,000, it's worth it at this point. That brings us into April, and these monthly pep talks have actually raised my ego into the red zone, the dangerous end. But there's an event coming up, a volunteer with the kids. This happens every first week of April, and if you volunteer, your ego gets reduced by 50 points. So that brings us back towards neutral. Now this has become a clear case of sunk cost fallacy, but I know this attack minigame isn't supposed to be as hard as I'm making it look, and I insist on clearing it before I move on. And that this is the sort of thing I'm dealing with. I get a cross into Miller, I get my shot input in time, and he decides to chest it instead of heading it. I do at least get one goal at the end here, but that's only 6,000 points when we need 10,000 to move on, so I'll be revisiting this minigame again later. It actually hasn't taken me as long as I thought to reach the end of the season in this post-com, in part because my training strategy hasn't changed for the several months now. We've reached May week 3, the last game of the season, and we have a pre-game talk with ourselves. I think not afraid of mistakes is the best option here because you get the consistency boost. But anyway, we're playing Reading, and this is for all the marbles. We, regardless of our relation, need at least a draw in this match to qualify for winning the championship. And thankfully, we're going to go in with a 1-goal lead. With this being a decider, I'm going to give you a more extended highlights package. early chance to shoot with Bins, but there was never a real chance of that going in for a goal. So I leak out left with Bins, and this is a more promising attack, but it gets cut away by Harper before it can do any damage. Now, one issue I've run into with this game is that there's no way to cancel unwanted actions, such as accidentally short passing when you thought you needed to press the ball carrier but you were in possession all along. So that leads to Reading getting a dangerous throw in, but we are able to see it off before it gets crossed into the box. Now we have Bins working the left again, makes a good cut on the one-on-one and shoots, but Miller gets in the way and gets struck in the dick. To add insult to injury, it was offside. So we try that again. This time we make the cross and it gets deflected to Ince, who has good position to shoot, but Miller gets in the way again. We'll try that one more time with Bins as the target man. The cross is good, the header's good, but Shorey just gets in the way of the nick of time. And then against the run of play, Reading, dangerous opportunity. Doyle gets in on goal. Shot is saved, but no one's there to clean up. And, well, I just gave him too much space because of user error. I was trying to intercept the ball with Edwards, but I ran right past it. Now, the good news is that only levels the scoring, and Reading didn't have enough time for a winner. I showed this off in the essay video, but I might as well do it again. If you go into the final game of the season as the top-ranked club and then draw the league game, you get this hilarious bug.
Coventry, champions!
I had to turn Alan Green on specifically for that, and I will turn him off as soon as I remember to do so in the recording, because clearly he's drunk. Clearly Wolverhampton are the ones celebrating and lifting the cup here. So after the match, we get defensive boosts again, but we didn't win the Man of the Match award this time, so that scuppers my earlier theory. To clear up any confusion, Wolverhampton are the legitimate winners of the Champions Division, and we are being interviewed about this right now. I go way too polite on this interview, however, and it results in me losing all of the positive ego I had built up. I was banking on a future interview being a chance for me to go back into the positive, but this turned out to be a mistake in the long run. Something that wasn't a mistake, however, was my last attack minigame attempt of the season. Let's see how I finally managed to clear this level. But even in my moment of success, the game had to troll me one last time by having Miller hit the post when he had an open goal mouth. Anyway, that brings us into June and the off-season. So here are my final attributes at the end of Season 1. They could have been better, but that's the nature of a one-shot save. I think we've made decent progress, all things considered. There wasn't much else for me to do in this off-season, so I decided to go out a bunch of times with the rest of my Euro dollars to try and trigger some random events, but none ever came, so we're skipping straight to July week 2 now, where it's time to pick my club for the next season. But the game kind of picks the club for me because you're guaranteed at least one A-rank offer, and I was always going to take that offer because it's worth so much more money and the transfer is guaranteed. We're playing for PSV Eindhoven next season. So naturally we get interviewed about the transfer, and this was a chance for me to act cocky. I did at first, but I think I messed up the third question. I think the correct response to get the ego boost would have been, I don't mind as long as I play, due to how counterintuitive these answers actually are. So that is a minor setback, but aside from that, we're on our way towards a big payday and a really good club at PSV.